It's just the way she's dying is just feeling like we're not taking full advantage of the craziness. You can do a lot in post, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of people love post. I happen to really love it, but it is its own massive job.
The reason for post-production is to try to make sure that you're covering every single base or every single aspect or everything that the showrunner wants. You try to provide the vision or access or playback material or anything like that. So by the time we get to the ending, you don't find out, oh wait, we forgot to do something. Now you have to spend quite a big amount of money to go back and reshoot it.
My grandfather, John O'Reilly, member of the NYPD in the 1930s.
Once you've shot all your film, you have 7.5 days of film that an editor will have to assemble, and then a director will have to go in and give notes.
The film is, shot, and when that film is processed, it's sent to us, and the first job is to assemble the scenes in order and to do the editing, the basic editing of the scenes. And so now we're taking the director's cut, making sure that all the performances are right and the pacing's right, and all the stuff that he wanted on set now gets into the cut.
Did that shot work?
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
I try to stay genuine to the script and to the talent's performances. They put a lot of work in these performances, and there's little tiny things, a little nuance in eye contact, subtleties in body language, tonality in the voice, and I pay very particular attention to these things because they work on these things, and I have to notice them and I pay attention to them. And in post, I really try to sort of mold all that clay together.
Home with Skippy, who has an alibi.
Okay, cool, that works now on Angie's shot. Can we match that with any more movement?
Once the editor has assembled it and the director has had his chance to go through it, it's my turn. And I have to tell the story, again, with all the pieces that I have, and sometimes I have to come up with creative ways to tell a piece of that story that I don't have on film, or to make a scene that isn't quite working work. When it's all come to life and you have the film, you have so many choices. So I'll look at all the pieces of the film, I'll work with the editor, and we will go literally second by second and make changes. Sometimes fractions of seconds will make a big difference.
When it comes to the producer's cut, we make sure that everyone kind of stays out of there. Give her her space, let her see what we have to play with. And then she will provide us with notes and tell us, I was really aiming for this, can you look for alternate takes? And then once that happens, then we go in there again and everyone starts working away to try to perfect it as much as possible.
That was great. Okay, so 2:14. We good to go? Everybody ready? Okay. All right, any caveats?
After we lock the show, we end up getting the composer, the music editor, and their editor, and we do a spotting session. We get together, we go over the whole thing, and Janet will point out exactly what she wants and what she thinks we should stay away from, and what production picked up on their microphones that she actually was hoping she didn't get. There's like 7 of us in a room, and everyone has different notes of what they wanted picture-wise and sound editorial-wise.
As she's taking those steps and just kind of liven that up. Scary. Your spotting session is one of your last chances to get your audio mix right and your music right. So when you go into the spotting session, you have already what we call locked picture. You're not going to be changing your picture, but you have all kinds of things you can do with your sound. So you're listening to make sure all the dialogue is clear. You're listening to make sure all the sounds that you want to hear are in the scene. So you want to make sure that all plays, but doesn't step on what the actors are saying. It's got to be in the background. Do you feel like we should carry the music over?
Well, there's a theme note that'll be in 13 from the course act.
Yeah, I just want to hear it. I also always struggle with the musical piece of it. Where do I bring in that little sting? Do I want suspenseful music? Do I want sad music? And all of that is part of the audio experience of film.
We watch an episode and we decide what kind of music is going to go where a piece of music will come in, where it will come out, where a scene might need a little bit of lift emotionally or might need a little bit of extra humor added to it. And so we talk about that and discuss it A music editor generates notes from that meeting, and I go back to my studio and start composing the music.
You tell him I don't care about him. Now you need me because it's convenient for you.
What are you thinking?
You're like, what are you thinking? I'm like, watch on totally there. So.
You think you're watching television in here, Jimmy?
Sorry.
You're composing. Okay, lost in the story. We have this wonderful composer who pays very close attention to the film and to the story, and when the music is just enhancing the experience, that we've got it just right.
I develop a palette, if you will, of colors that I'm going to use for the show. And I'll use the spotting notes to guide me through the different story points and different arcs, and I might write a theme at the very beginning of the show that's going to pop up a few times, and then when it comes to the case of the show, which is another element, those colors are quite a bit darker, and I'll write those themes and then try to piece them all together as we go through the show and create an arc musically.
I spent a fair amount of time in the city of Boston when I was a kid. My mother's Irish, my father's Italian. So when I first started talking to the composer, that's what I talked about. Where could we get that sort of Eastern, distinctly Boston feel?
One of the challenges was to incorporate sort of things that might sound like we're in Boston or things that evoke Boston. We have a palette that's some light percussion, some Irish fiddle, some Irish harps, and some guitars and mandolin. And also, there's sort of like this comedic element that happens between Jane and Maura, and we wanted to try to find a softer tone that could maybe play up some of the fun between those two characters.
I feel like it is Boston. It does feel very grounded geographically. When you hear that music, you know what you're going to get. And I think it's become integral to the show now.
Once we're done with color correction, by that time, it's already been 5 days. So we're able to jump over to ADR.
We always want to try and keep the production audio if we can. That's the best thing. But sometimes what happens is we'll have noises, unexpected things, or airplanes, things like that, and we'll need to replace it.
These are group loop people. On the day of production, they're just shooting for the sound on the individual actors. Everyone else is not there. So we're filling in all the voices of those who are in the background, those who are walking by, those who we'd like to be hearing, imaginary people, whatever is called for. That's what the loop group is there to do.
We usually play a cut of what the scene is like and give the actor time to build up the emotion, to try to deliver on cue. Yeah. And they just go in, usually they watch it 3 to 4 times and they say, okay, I'm ready. And we just turn off the lights and turn on the mics and lights and go for it.
So far nothing's turned up yet.
What'd you call, who's the CI?
Every once in a while we'll have key lines that we need, call 911 or something like that. But most of the time, it's just the actors in the loop group improvising. They know a lot of cop lingo, firemen, whatever we need, they know it, and they're really good at it.
Foley was named after a guy at Universal who developed this kind of cobbed-together way of, putting on women's shoes and running, so he sounded like the actress in the film. So now we call anything Foley. Anytime you want to hear broken glass crunch underfoot or footsteps, and really good Foley people can mimic all kinds of sounds.
We have 4 to 5 people that come in to actually do the whole Foley for us. Putting the sound mixers to do the whole entire Foley can take 2 extra days to finish the show, and we don't have 2 extra days to give them. So it's important for us to have the 4 to 5 people bring in, and they do the Foley for us.
They require us, the Foley crew, to go back, look at the picture, figure out what's missing, and add those elements, those sound elements. So Foley consists of footsteps, props, hands, and clothing rustle.
We're on the Foley stage here, and what's involved here is many, many different surfaces, different props for all kinds of situations to recreate any sound in any sort of scene. What we're gonna add mainly is her footsteps, her cloth movement. She ends up getting killed and she falls to the ground, so we're gonna add a body fall in that scene.
I'm a goddess. I don't have to let go of my pride. This is it. I'm saying it's time to let
When it's all put together, all the audio and the video is all there, then we have a final mix session in a big theater where you get to see everybody's enormous and you can hear everything, and I get to watch it one more time, and of course I always have to have at least 10 more pages of notes for these poor people who work for me, and they do those notes, and once all of that is done, you have a finished episode.
I'm gonna get some fries. You want an order?
No. Yes, I'll just have one or two.
You're getting your own order.
Are you gonna order some dessert too?
Well, in a regular job, I'd say go home, but this isn't a regular job. Order some dinner. We're gonna be here a while. It's such a long process, isn't it? And yet you have to keep doing it. As much as I want to complain about how much work it is, I'm really grateful that we have these fans that we have, and that we have people who are so interested in these stories and these characters and laugh at my jokes and get it when I'm trying to say something else in what feels like a simple scene. That is an amazing privilege for me as a writer, for me as a creative person, that I have this place to play. And all the heart and hours and blood and sweat and tears of so many talented creative people, it's fantastic to see it finally get out there and be on TV. I mean, yeah, that's a thrill. And guess what? Put that one to bed, let's do it again. Next episode.